communists recognized black Southerners' adherence to that same gospel, which prevented them from getting a foothold.
To the rural Negro, whose pleasures are few and primitive, there is no greater occasion than Sunday meeting.
Dr. King, was there something peculiar to the place where you started and the kind of people you attracted?
In the late 19th century, Karl Marx and Frederick Engels were determined to spread their ideology throughout London. But there was one man, along with the gospel of Jesus Christ, who stood in their way: Charles H. Spurgeon. In the early to mid 20th century, communism set its sights on America, but not just America, mostly Black America. But there was one powerful force that stood in its way. Check it out.
In the same way that Marx and Engels struggled to reach as many people as they would have liked to because of Charles Spurgeon and his preaching of the gospel, by the early to mid 20th century, communists recognized black Southerners' adherence to that same gospel, which prevented them from getting a foothold.
To the rural Negro, whose pleasures are few and primitive, there is no greater occasion than Sunday meeting.
Dr. King, was there something peculiar to the place where you started and the kind of people you attracted?
The rural Negro lives in the faith that no matter what his lot on earth, there is a better life ahead.
I would say by and large it was very easy to get to the vast majority of Negroes because they were in some way connected with a church in the community.
Was there, in addition to your commitment?
It is for all these reasons and more that the communists decided to intensify their efforts to make contacts within the religious community.
All these growing, friendly contacts between communists and religious communicants are more than casual, accidental incidents. They are symptoms of deep currents beginning to move among the people.
Frankly, Father, what is the future of Christianity in the next 50 years? Where is the church going?
The church will either become an instrument almost of fascism, of extreme reaction, where it's just tied down with people with money and its use of power against the poor and the dispossessed. I wonder what the church's chances are if it engages in this kind of foolishness that take the time and energy from bishops who ought to be out with the people rather than engaged in torture.
American churchgoers will no longer be frightened by the menace of the philosophical writings of Marx, Engels, Lenin, and Stalin. Earl Browder.
So check this out. It says Charles Spurgeon kept Marxism from taking root in London by offering a competing vision of human flourishing rather than directly confronting Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels through political debates. Spurgeon combated their secular utopianism with the gospel, emphasizing personal regeneration and practical charity over bloody revolution. The two figures operated in the same city at the same time. Karl Marx was writing Das Kapital at the British Museum, while Spurgeon was pastoring the massive Metropolitan Tabernacle in South London. Spurgeon's approach to stopping the spread of Marxism included emphasizing personal regeneration, prioritizing practical action and benevolence, preaching absolute truth. Spurgeon's massive reach, circulating hundreds of millions of printed copies of his sermons, ensured the working class heard a message of eternal salvation over secular revolution. So this goes to show that preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ overshadows any other preaching. Now, in the early 1900s, when communism started to really take effect in our country here, the biggest problem that we had wasn't just communism, but it was pastors, not just then, but even today, pastors who, instead of preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ, they chose and choose to preach the social gospel, which is also attached to the ideology of communism and Marxism.